So that's going to be a first pick Jarvan, I think, for Sentinels for sure. So that was kind of their strategy, is they're like, all right, we're just going to drop some of these other bans. They're triple banning jungle. You know, it usually is Gryffinn who's playing Abessa. Mundo, he likes to get later on in the series. And Nocturne has maintained its place on the banned list here. So curious to see where FlyQuest wants to go with their early picks. You know, are they just going to look for something for bot lane? Lulu could just be like a Lulu Yunara type angle, but of course, you know, you can go a couple different ways, and we actually are getting this Shyvana. Very cool.
Yeah, remember, this was the first ban of the second half from Sentinels in the previous game, so they were respecting that Gryffinn would potentially pull this out, and here in game number 3, that's what we'll get.
And he did last weekend, and you know, won with it. Or not last weekend, maybe it was a couple.
Yeah, last weekend against
Cloud9. Yeah, so he has brought it out, and he did win with it. I didn't feel like that game was that much about him, but he did get a very big farm lead, and when you get ahead on this champion, you can power farm just like the pre-rework version as well. Impact going to be blind picking here, and his first time kind of off of just the traditional tanks so far this series.
Yeah, and they're also going to be getting DARKWINGS on a stable control mage. Once again, Ryze, Orianna, and Viktor drafting very well around his strengths, but it also opens them up to whatever counter picks FlyQuest wants to have. Those are two very generic blind pick, yet strong solo laners, but it does allow FlyQuest to flex their champion pools a little bit to try and counter this. If I had to guess, you'd pick your top lane champ here against the Renekton, but you never know.
All right, a little bit more time to decide what they want to go here. Yeah, okay, just lock in the bottom lane combo instead. So the most desynced draft first half we've had so far in the series, with jungle being selected for both sides, then bot lane duo for Fly, both solo lanes for Sentinels, should make the second half of the bans pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just going to be bans towards bot lane from FlyQuest and bans towards solo lanes from Sentinels to protect, right? And that's going to be what we're looking for here. Last game they did ban the Blitz, you know, as kind of a protective measure there for the Lucian Melio, and now they are going to do it again. Blitz also very good into the Lulu, and clearly they're expecting from huhi, so he must be scrimming with it. Otherwise, I don't think we're just kind of seeing the random bans here. 2 games in a row on it. And we need the protection bans now for DARKWINGS and potentially for Impact if he feels he needs it. Akali makes sense. Nar's another matchup that a lot of people don't love playing as a Renekton. You could see that banned as well.
Bard's still up here, too, for the Sentinels side. If FlyQuest wants to spend their last ban on it, I'm not sure.
We do also have to remember that we saw Gakgos bring out Quinn, right? And Quinn, you know, is one of those matchups into the Renekton. So if they're worried about that, we could see a Quinn ban. We could see potential Gnar ban. Those are the kind of ones that I might be expecting from Sentinels. Or maybe they just don't care whatsoever.
Yeah, they're just going support bans. Don't care about the Bard. Feel like they have the lane Cryo locked up with just the Lulu Yunara, with the 280 carry bans, with these supports and ADs that are already out of the pool.
I mean, it's really interesting because we were talking about this earlier, and I thought that Sentinels would have had higher prio on the Bard, but I think what we are seeing is the fact that they're looking at Bard as a pairing with Caitlyn, not as a strong individual champion. And so with the Caitlyn ban, it feels like that is kind of like a 2-for-1 combo there. And instead we are going to get the Sylas ban. So banning out a couple of these melee champs, that quad might be wanting to play into DARKWINGS. So there is the ability to go things like Quinn or Gnar. You know, I don't know that we'll see the Quinn, but we did see it once from Gakgos, and this is kind of the matchup that you would take it in.
The thing that I would be worried about with a Quinn, although FlyQuest proved that they could do this in game 1, is you do feel like you are lacking on engage if your top laner is now Quinn. Sure, Shyvana does have the fear on her ulti now with the rework version of her, but it's still not the most intense thing, as Aurora will get locked in here for FlyQuest.
Maybe it's Shyvana top.
I think it's Aurora top for sure in the Renekton.
I love that. It's just a lane pick. I don't love the scaling for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as much of a scaling pick, but it is more of like a team fighter, unlike Quinn. You know, kind of some of the concerns you were talking about, Flowers, is that Quinn can be kind of difficult to play around. I think Aurora is a lane bully early on into the Renekton, and then can just show up in 5v5, and they're going to be looking to do that. So they are going for the Bard at the end of the day here, Bard MF. So not that traditional like Nautilus MF or Rahel MF, but you can still throw down the Bard ult, then flag and drag Cataclysm, you know, Gravity Field, all these tools with the bullet time over top.
Exactly. Big AoE lockdowns are what Misfortune loves to be played with. You probably saw the stats pop up when Rahel locked it in, though. 4 plays so far here in Spring Split, 4 losses in Spring Split, so could potentially struggle a bit, but we'll have to see, as the final pick of the draft for FlyQuest will be Ksante up there in the top lane, the Ksante versus Renekton Classic.
Yep, so Aurora's going to be flexed over towards mid, and they are going to get Gakgos on a tank here, which does kind of set up for something fun, because You know, the narrative is that Gakgos is the carry guy and the Impact is the tank guy. Both of them have been playing their quote-unquote assigned roles so far, but this time the script is flipped. I will say that I think out of the tanks, Gakgos team fights best on Ksante, because Ksante team fights like a carry.
He is a carry.
He doesn't team fight like a tank.
And out of the quote carries, I'd also say Renekton is Impact's best, because it's kind of a bruiser, can kind of
you
follow.
You can build Asterix.
Yeah, and it follows a lot of the same team fight rules that a tank would as well when you're trying to always be within engage range of your AD carries. So when I talked to Impact about this in the pregame interview, though, he said that Gakgos' tank laning is really good.
Yep.
It's just his team fighting where he makes the mistakes.
Yep, absolutely agree on that one. And the last Renekton game that Impact had was against Dignitas, I remember, and he had a really good TP flank that kind of, did turn around a game from a position that looked very, very difficult. So he definitely can make it happen here, but Sentinels are going to have to win 3 straight if they do not want their season to end now. FlyQuest on the verge of sending them home early.
All right, game number 1, remember, was very slow and very close for a very long time. Up until about 20 minutes and change, we had no bigger than a 1,000 gold lead either way. Game number 2, of course, was a much different story, with bottom lane just hemorrhaging very early for Sentinels, FlyQuest taking a commanding lead. So now here in this third one, I'm curious which way it's going to go, because Shyvana, not the strongest early ganker, doesn't make a ton of plays. Jarvan, however, can be the exact opposite, getting involved with these lanes early.
Yeah, I think FlyQuest is going to have to play really high-level League of Legends to take this one over, and Massu and Cryogen would have to have, I think, a big snowball down in the bottom lane, because this is just another really difficult team composition to execute. They have almost no hard CC, and this is an interesting comment from Rob Moore eSports, the CEO of Sentinels, who was listening to my podcast. He loves to comment, and I had mentioned that I voted Massu All-Pro.
Yeah.
Rob Moore said in the head-to-head, though, Rahel, much better. Notice the 10 exclamation marks as well within this comment. I will say a little bit vindicated so far this series with Massu's performance, but I love Rob engaging with the comments.
Well, I just love how passionate he is about his team. I often see him outside. Last weekend he was here, watching Valorant for his team, I think, that was playing. And or maybe he was just here for the pre-show or whatever, but he caught Raz and I and was telling us how, you guys are crazy, we beat them 3 times in a row, what are you doing, you gotta predict us. But Raz is standing by with Fly's coach, Thinkart.
Seems like you had feedback from Apollo the last time around. Can you tell us what the feedback was?
He respectfully declined the good luck squeeze against C9. I said if I was going to have the option today, I was going to take it, so I got main feedback.
I feel like you guys don't even in luck. Talk about the success that you guys have been having so far throughout this series, and even, I guess, a little bit of the trade that's happening here.
Yeah, so game 1, I think we had a little bit of nerves, actually, but we were able to bring it back. I think Quad's having a great series. I'm surprised they gave us Cassio. Game 2, we pretty much were in the driver's seat. They kept on overloading against Gakgos, but Lucian Milio was kind of uncontested. And now in this game, I think as long as Shyvana gets basically 2 full clears off, I think we'll be in a good spot. And I was kind of thinking that they were going to hard force just Bard in kind of not the best lane, just because they've been so successful on Bard, and they need huhi on something to impact the map.
Can you talk about Massu just a little bit? Because he's having a monstrous series so far.
Who?
Massu.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've always known he's one of the best ADCs in the league, if not the best ADC in the league. They gave us Lucian. They played Ashe Seraphine into it, which is a pretty decent response, but clearly we're a little bit more polished in that 2v2 than they are, because they should have the advantage level 1, but they made a little bit of a mistake, and then the game kind of snowballed from there. So, I mean, Massu's just a great player. We all know that.
And before we send it back to the casters, the word that you sent to your team just to close this one out, close this series out?
Just keep talking about what the enemy team can do. As long as we know what Sentinels plays can go for, we're just the better team. If we're not surprised by something, I think we're going to win.
All right, Street. Sounds good to me. Send this one straight back to the casters.
I love that confidence in the closing quote. The only way they win is if we get caught off guard. And the communication so far has been solid. Like I was talking about in the last game, everybody making sure that you're protecting Massu and keeping that Lucian going. It felt like he was never under that true lethal threat.
Yeah, and I think it is, really apt. It's such an important part of League of Legends. I think too often people are focused only on their own win conditions instead of their opponent's win conditions, and thinking about what their opponent needs the game to look like to win. And, you have to think about that, take that into consideration, and that is especially true, I think, against a player like huhi, who is always looking for these surprising angles.
Massu is taking a little damage down here, though, as he and Cryogen try to get this wave pushed in. The Cosmic Binding will not trap him against anything else, but huhi is on one of his big picks here in Game 3.
Yeah, and huhi, the last time he played Bard, was just all over the map, so it's not necessarily about what he does in the laning phase, it's about what kind of chaos him and HamBak are going to be able to create on the map here with Bard and Jarvan trying to make plays, because huhi's playmaking, I think, is just the best part of his game.
Absolutely, and for me, you know, he is all-pro worthy. You know, I think that he might not actually win, but I did give him a vote. I feel like he has actually played very, very well for this team. For a team that wasn't, you know, a top couple position team, he was in there winning them a lot of games through great plays, through great map movement, through shot calling that we've gotten to hear time and time again in those comms listen-ins, and definitely think he is deserving of a lot of the credit he's been getting.
Yeah, I had Vulcan first, Isle second, huhi third in mind. So I definitely think he's contributed a lot to the games that Sentinels have triumphed in, and that Bard is going to give him the tools to do it here in this one. So we'll make sure that we always kind of keep track of where he's at. Right now, the bottom lane is going great for huhi and Rahel, who already have a two-wave lead.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to point out as well. So Rob Moore rejoicing currently for his Rahel versus Massu matchup, needing to get some power back to his own team, already being down 2-0 in the series.
I will say, though, I feel like the script so far has been, all right, Sentinels, you need to just kind of withstand. You have good scaling, good team fighting. I feel like kind of the opposite is true in a lot of ways in this one, where I feel like it's Sentinels that need to be pushing the pace more. When you're going to play Bard, Jarvan, Renekton, you got to make plays, right? You got to be able to actually find angles. The team with the Yunara, Lulu, Shyvana scales really well as well with her passive, getting more armor and MR from all that farming. And Gakgos is the one piloting a tank here.
The second crab, level 6 to the jungler. Who gets it?
All right, here's the battle. HamBak going to take the brunt of the Shyvana-verse here at the start. Quad's got to try to get away. He wants to go between worlds, bounces back to the other side as Rahel goes on a magical journey. Battle lines being restored here as FlyQuest try to get away. Sentinels, they drive him back for now.
Yeah, that was a very close call for Quad. Ended up on the wrong side of the river, so going to lose a lot of tempo. And HamBak was able to secure that second crab. So a small win here for Sentinels.
A small win, and in fact, getting some nice wins up on that top side, playing it very well in the 1v1, has already taken a play, has already forced one base, and Gakgos is going to be taking another base here, so Impact can just hard shove this, and will deny a couple minions, but of course the home guard change makes it pretty easy to get back and not have these be super punishing recalls. But Impact is up 400 gold for now, nearly 500. Though, of course, some of this will be recouped by Gakgos as he arrives back.
Okay, Dragon finally going to be secured by HamBak there as Rahel steps up just to make sure of it. So a nice early game here for Sentinels, just about 7 minutes on the clock. They've got Dragon #1. They've got a 1,000 gold lead. They've actually got individual leads everywhere, with the biggest of those, of course, being in the top lane like we're talking about here for Impact's Renekton. The question then will become, what plays can he turn that into later? Specifically, I'm going to be looking around the Rift Herald fight. That's generally when top laners start to really get involved in the bigger skirmishes in the game. That's where I need to see Impact lock in and perform.
I agree, but I'd also say for Sentinels, they don't need to force too much since all of their lanes are kind of naturally winning and they already have the first Drake. As long as they're stronger and showing up on time to these objectives, I think that would accelerate the game at a fast enough pace.
Okay.
I did touch on it in Champ Select, but you know, this narrative around these top laners, tanks versus carries, who's better on what. This is the stats for the players going into the series. So these are the two players on carries. These are their stats. Gakgos obviously far superior statistically on the carries, and let's be honest, in the eye test. But the other half of the story is Impact. When he is playing tanks, he's the one that has been smurfing, and Gakgos has been the one struggling, in my view. And this game, it is them playing, you know, the champion that they're kind of less associated with.
Until Ksante presses R, then things will get a little bit different. So that's what we've got to remember heading towards the bigger fights later on in the game, as FlyQuest are crashing a large wave into the tier 1 turret here bottom side. Massu just going to walk out of the bullet time, has to use the ulti together with a Kanmei's step to escape that tempered fate, keep his flash intact, because HamBak was on the flank.
HamBak is thinking of continuing this play and at least pushing Massu back to base after clearing the wards. So it's going to be a nice amount of gold lost for Massu there. So he continues to be an annoyance.
That was actually so close. Huhi came out of the brush right as that recall finished from Massu. If he got interrupted there, might have lost his flash, might have even lost his life. But at the end of the day, He does just go back to base, doesn't spend any summoners, but it is going to make it more difficult for huhi as that portal fails. The Kanmei step with the ultimate is going to be able to actually dodge out, as we saw there, but also Quad is pretty mobile as well, right? So these are not slow carries. It's not like you're trying to ult an Ashe and a Viktor. You're trying to catch an Aurora and a Yunara, who are going to be more difficult to actually lock down with that Bard ultimate.
2.5 minutes till our next Drake. Still a long way away from the Rift Herald spawning, since Void Grubs were already claimed by Gryffinn. So not really anything to fight over right now. Feels like we'll probably have a pretty calm lane state overall. Everything just kind of going according to plan, as Impact maintains that gold lead that he's had up there in the top lane here so far, and everything else very close.
Yeah, and Gryffinn just farming up until the time he gets the Trinity Force, trying to make sure he's just keeping his camps up, has done a few nice counter jungles of the Raptors, was able to keep farming even when his own bot side got invaded, and at least no one on FlyQuest has been dove by HamBak's Jarvan yet. So in a sense, both these teams are kind of comfortable in the state of the game because there's the lead that Sentinel should have, but FlyQuest also want this game to go long.
Yeah, ult for ult here in mid between worlds, traded for that Arcane Storm, as both get chunked down to only a few hundred HP, decide to take the recall with the waves eliminated.
You know, DARKWINGS, I gotta say, has quietly been having a good series. You know, in the Orianna game, he was kind of one of the only threats. When you think about the Rise game, he had built up a pretty sizable gold lead despite the TF passive. They have not been winning, but I do think DARKWINGS has actually been playing really, really solid. And I feel like that is one of the hallmarks of him as a player.
Huhi coming in for the Temperate Fate yet again, and just like the first time, it's the transcended Kanmei step from Massu, keeping his distance while also keeping his flash. So the bottom lane from FlyQuest stays safe, but Sentinels keeps the pressure on.
Jeez, Massu, great reaction time this series. He's really locked in. Game 1, the perfect shifts on all the Nautilus hooks. Game 2, 10-0 on Lucian, and now Game 3. Even though the laning phase is much more difficult, he's been very good at dodging these ganks without having to burn flash.
Don't forget, it's only a couple weeks away now. Spring Finals going to the Mullet Arena in Tempe, Arizona on June 13th and 14th. Since they were the upper bracket competitors who managed to win their first series, Cloud9 and Lion are already locked to appear and compete there. But there's still one more spot up for grabs. That's what everybody in the lower bracket is trying to fight their way to.
Yeah, 4 teams fighting for that one bracket. So obviously we have FlyQuest versus Sentinels, then we're going to have Shopify and TL. Only one of the 4 will be able to actually get to the finals and keep their hopes of an MSI berth and an LCS championship alive. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's always so crazy. As much as you're liking having a lower bracket that you're not instantly eliminated, it just makes it so hard. Like,
so stressful.
C9 Lion win one series, they're there, and now you're thinking, okay, we lost the series 1 of 4. So it's one of these 2 teams, Team Liquid or Shopify, are the only teams that can make it out.
Yeah, basically, at the end of the day, if you drop to the lower bracket and you're in the first round, you have to win 2 back-to-back series. You have no extra lives. If you win 2 in a row, you are going to be at least in that lower bracket finals, so you are going to be able to have a chance to go.
Okay, Sentinels trying to make sure that FlyQuest doesn't push into their jungle here and control more than they already do. It is FlyQuest possession over the river as the second Drake of the game has spawned. Dominus from Impact committed as Gakgos tries to clear enough space without using the all-out in return. Looks like he should be able to get back to the safety of the turret just like that. So if we do get these top laners teleporting down here for the dragon fight, Massu could be in a little bit of danger before that even happens. HamBak still in the Drake. Rahel under pressure as Gryffinn makes his way into the fight now in dragon form. Rahel still trying to escape for the first blood. Goes back over to Quad. Sentinels, right when they needed to clutch up, they fall down. FlyQuest punish as they try to get Massu yet again.
Yeah, they try to go for Massu, but every time he just pops ult, hits the untouchable shadow, dashes away there, and is able to survive. And this time it's Quad on the roam. DARKWINGS was still pushing mid, so they go for this play down a man, and FlyQuest punish them. Very reminiscent of that earlier play back in Game 1 where they had the extra man defending the Raptors invade that Sentinels was going for. They go for an aggressive play and they get punished big time.
And the idea was definitely to kill Massu. They landed the Bard ult on him, but couldn't get the follow-up CC. Huhi can't connect the Bard Stun into the wall, and they can't lock him in the bullet time. And then the MF doesn't have the mobility that the Yunara does. Gryffinn forces his flash, Quad comes in over the top and deletes him.
Yeah, I mean, that was just unwinnable so fast because as soon as Quad shows up, Rahel had already flashed. He just gets one shot. And you can see Basil, very happy about the way this series is going as one of the FlyQuest co-streamers.
Oh yeah, this one is feeling a lot more comfortable for FlyQuest now. Not like it was uncomfortable before, but we hadn't really had any big moves just yet. It was still
kicking your feet
up.
It
was still 0-0. You're just like, okay, first fight of the game, first actual test, and we passed with flying colors. So no worry about a Drake stack anymore. Gryffinn has completed his Trinity Force at this point. Things are sailing smooth on the Fly side.
Yeah, I mean, no kidding, because you know when you look at bot lane, Massu's 3 CS away from popping his cull. Yeah, he took some damage in these trades early. He was getting bullied a little bit. He's about to pop his cull, and he's going to be like 800 plus gold ahead of where the MF is as the better scaling champion with the Lulu behind him. And Massu, undefeated on the Yunara, nearly a 10 KDA. This guy can team fight like an absolute beast, and there it is, nearly 1,000 gold ahead of Rahel.
And has always had extra support on his team to help him this entire series. Has the Ardent Sensor from the Lulu as well. To go beast mode in future fights, Cull has been popped as well, so there's that big gold lead coming online.
Still 0-0 for Huhi's Bard that we were talking about earlier. You can see him in the enemy jungle. HamBak also around here. Lots of wards being placed down by Sentinels to track FlyQuest. Try to use this Bard-Jarvan combo to find a pick somewhere, stabilize things a little bit.
I mean, their vision on the bot side is great. Quad is fighting here. There could be an angle for a dive now. He has no ult.
Yeah, HamBak immediately just jumps in for the Cataclysm. Quad, nice use of the Proto Belt to stay away from the Tempered Fate, but they just send more men. Sentinels finally get themselves a kill.
Just as you talk about it, Huhi gets on the board. Perfect Bard ultimate to turn the turret off. Here's Massu, though.
Yeah, Massu just immediately decides to jump in there with a Kanmei step into the Arc of Ruin. One more hit is what he needs. Massu, Wild Growth! And the final auto attack finds its mark.
Wow.
The turret heats up, but the heat's not enough. Massu survives thanks to Cryogen, and FlyQuest trade 1-for-1 across the map.
And you know what's so impressive about this is that Massu just holds his flash the whole time and his barrier. They were completely confident that they were going to get that kill and that he was not going to die. No heal, no barrier, no flash, nothing used there as they run down Rahel. They get his barrier and they kill him.
We talked at the top of the day how FlyQuest loves to play testing their limits. After enough testing, you learn where those limits lie, and FlyQuest play around them beautifully.
Massu's just in total flow state this series for sure, as Huhi using the Hex Gates as well, trying to be as present on the map as possible.
And I mean, again, DARKWINGS is up gold. He's up nearly 1,000 gold himself, but it just hasn't been the story because despite the fact that he's been able to get leads, it feels like in every single game, and he's playing these scaling picks, it feels like Massu is just performing so well in the 5v5s, and FlyQuest are playing so well around him to enable him to utilize the gold leads that he is building and really take over.
We've got ourselves a level 11 Shyvana now, so talking about this champion liking to power farm when she's ahead. Gryffinn is farmed up plus 30 over HamBak, but now the engage coming in from the Jarvan forces the defensive Dragon's descent back of the wall. Huhi's ready to try to follow. Gryffinn still looking for his escape, flashes over the wall into the Krug pit. Impact on the flank. HamBak ready to flash follow here with the EQ. Quad still standing by, wants to fire back, but Gryffinn is in some serious danger, still trying to get himself away for now. Escape the cooldowns won't happen. Ruthless Predator seals the deal for the shutdown for Sentinels.
Sentinels, just like last time.
It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. As soon as Sentinels makes a play on the bottom side of the map, Massu and Cryogen step up, crack their knuckles, and say, "Where's Rahel?"
Yeah, and Rahel is saying, "Where's my team?" Because he is getting chain dove here. He's put so far down. This item differential is going to get ridiculous once Massu bases. There's his second completed item. Rahel is so far away from a second. Massu is really starting to run away with it. It's going to be a battle of solo laners, though, versus Massu. And the question being, can Sentinels deal with this hyper-fed Yunara?
I mean, what do you even say? Play safe? Because he's under his turret when all this is happening.
Play safer.
Huhi's leaving to make plays, but at this point, Rahel would actually have to not be farming mid lane while a play is happening in order to stay alive. That's just instant decision-making by Massu and Cryogen to go for a play while another play is happening, as this Drake is going to be likely conceded as Gryffinn is just top lane trying to collect gold.
Yeah, the trade is, okay, we've got the Herald. We're going to take down the tier 1 turret guaranteed. Only impact is up here. Good chance of just being able to slam this straight into the tier 2, farm even more plate money while they take the Drake. Nice Tempered Fate, though. That's why I didn't say certainly. I said good chance. I remembered the Bard. Huhi blocking that one off, so the tier 2 stays in good shape, but FlyQuest will trade that Drake for the tier 1 turret. Still only a 2-to-1 in Drake count. As FlyQuest try to steal away the enemy red buff before they take their exit. Gryffinn will smite it down. Easy pick up there for the Fly side. As the secondary red buff accidentally went over to Gakgos. You could see Massu trying to hug the bottom side of the wall to pick it up. They wanted to give it to Yunara, but unfortunately didn't work out, and Quad will answer bot.
You know what's actually so funny is he used his E to dash out of it, and then Cryogen hit the blast cone and bonked him back into it. So Gakgos took it. But it's Cryogen's fault!
The final betrayal there after helping Massu all this time, denies him the red buff, the most important objective for AD carries.
As all the long con.
We do now have over a 1,000 gold lead for FlyQuest as they collect their second turret there in the mid lane, opens up the map a little bit more, makes things a little bit scarier for the Sentinels side. So what's the name of the game here for Sentinels? Is it still just look for more picks based around this Bard, or what are we doing?
I think at this point, you're just hoping to play through the Viktor. The side lane picks are good, and you're hoping for a team fight where the Viktor can be set up for success, because the game otherwise is falling out of control.
Okay, well, huhi makes his rotation up towards the top side, looks for Gakgos, but the problem is, fellas, this is Bramble Vest plus Plated Steel Caps plus Doran's Hat plus Frozen Fist for Gakgos. I think between Renekton and Bard, there's no way you ever punch through this.
That is very true. When Viktor's there, they can definitely kill this
Yeah, that'll
guy,
work.
You know, then Viktor really is the hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there is still a world in which Massu just gets flashed on stunned in one shot. They have no Mikhails. He has no cleanse. If you get flashed, Renekton stunned, Viktor laser, Viktor all, Cataclysm, everything thrown on top, then it is still winnable for Sentinels. The question is, can you actually find that, and can you do that through all of the front line that FlyQuest has between the Shyvana and the Ksante?
Yeah, look how far back Massu has to play in that mid lane, though. Rahel has to play in this mid lane on MF. Absolutely no pressure. A second ago, they had him top lane for that play, and the Viktor was catching mid just because Rahel can't really catch mid well in this game, and that just makes it so much more difficult for Sentinels to make plays.
Yeah, I mean, if his team shows elsewhere on the map, he basically has to ult the wave and run, right? Like, you don't actually get to take the wave in a normal way. They're looking for DARKWINGS.
Yeah, DARKWINGS gets caught out by Gakgos, going all out here as Gryffinn's waiting over the wall in case DARKWINGS tries to escape. FlyQuest is ready. DARKWINGS responds with the gravity field, but it won't matter. It just buys enough time for Massu to take the kill credit. 21 minutes on the clock. FlyQuest on the Baron pit. Impact on the other side of the map. Does have the teleport ready to join the rest of the team if Sentinels wants to try to stop it. HamBak's the only one here for now. Cryogen zoning him away. The Baron down to 6,000 HP. Impact still finishing off the tier 2 down here in the bottom lane. Tempered Fate onto the Baron, buying a little bit more time. Impact still bottom. Teleport going to be channeled now as FlyQuest still on the objective. Burning this one down. Should have no problem securing it. Massu pops the Arc of Ruin yet again. FlyQuest going on the chase. Baron's already claimed. Looking for a little bit more. Gakgos wants to cut off the escape route back towards the Sentinels base. Immediately has it with a Pathfinder. Follow-up knockup is there as huhi is low, but now they're turning back around. Massu's down to 100 HP, but it does stay alive. Fires another Arc of Judgment back into the fight as HamBak falls. Gryffinn getting away for now. Impact wants to kill him. Meanwhile, Quad picks up Rahel on the right side of the fight. Gryffinn finally dropped. huhi's still barely hanging on. Impact trying to raid boss this, but FlyQuest already cleared the encounters they needed to. Impact hit by the third in Tofo strike yet again. Gakgos still not that afraid, but now the DARKWINGS has joined back into the fight. FlyQuest have to continue their retreat. Impact trying to bait them a little bit further, but FlyQuest continues falling away from this. They are going to take this sequence.
FlyQuest just keeps getting better and better after getting that pick so decisive on the way they contested Baron. Never a risk of HamBak stealing, and then still a nice chase at the end to try and force a fight.
Yeah, I mean, it was really well done, because not only did they get the kill on DARKWINGS, when he uses his TP to try to escape and fails, you know, even when he respawns, he can't join the fight. Yeah. So you're going to force hard in this situation. Massu just gets way too confident, though, following through the Bard portal here. Goes in after huhi, in comes Impact, and this is what I'm talking about. There is no cleanse,
stun.
There is no Mikhails.
Knock up.
You can almost get 100 to 0. If Viktor is there, you are absolutely dead to rights.
That was almost best case scenario for Sentinels. Fully CC locking Massu before he could flash away, but they still didn't get the bounty. So that's a bit of a backbreaker for Sentinels. They kind of want to fight straight away again, though, knowing Massu, even though he has Infinity Edge, has no summoner spells. So trying to stack up the Drakes and actually reach their own soul point would be Sentinels' chance of winning this game.
They've got control of that bot side river for now. Impact back down to the bottom lane. No TP available for either one of the top laners right now. Neither one of the mid laners to add on to that. So everybody's got to be in the right position here at the very start. FlyQuest thinking about the approach. Quad, the only one on the team not grouped up with everyone else.
They want to play with Viktor here.
The Aurora pincer attack Could be what FlyQuest is looking for. The Dragon down to about half HP. Quad still on the approach, trying to go the long, long way around. Tempered Fate flies out, but Gryffinn flies in, steals away the Drake. Now Impact gonna be focused on the front side of the fight, while Quad immediately finds the backline. Impact over the killing spree, takes down Gryffinn. FlyQuest don't have the damage to kill anybody, but everyone on Sentinels is low. It's Gryffinn trading his life for a Dragon steal.
And that was really well timed there, because he uses the Unstoppable from the ultimate activation to immune the Bard ult there, flies in, is able to steal it away. But you can see it's not that easy to take these team fights here. DARKWINGS doing a good job actually zoning them away. And then they try to go for the Bard ult to finish it, but look at the timing here from Gryffinn. Really well done.
Beautifully done. As you see right there, goes Unstoppable, so the Bard ult will not hit him. And then gets the flee. Obviously doesn't stop Smite, so just presses it faster at 1200. And a nice flank on the backside here from Quad. Nearly one-shotting Rahel, but that channel does go through, and then everyone can kind of take the Bard portal or dash to safety.
Meanwhile, back live, it's Quad under pressure. HamBak going for the Cataclysm. He's got the firepower from DARKWINGS right behind him, and that Sentinels finding themselves a pick.
Nicely done there by Sentinels, just constantly staying active. Despite the difficult situations in this game, they're always looking for picks, whether they're behind or not. They will keep fighting. And DARKWINGS still maintaining that gold lead. Impact has built up a pretty big one as well. Does go for the Shoujin as his second item, so is going to be missing that big Steric shield in the team fight, but is higher damage. So he's kind of saying, hey, if I get on Massu, I might actually be able to one-shot him. And Cryogen still did not go for Mikhail's second. He did go for that Shirelia's, so there is still no way to cleanse CC.
And FlyQuest may be down, Sentinels may be down in the game, they may be down in the series, but you know they're going to continue to look for plays. We did pull this up in game 2. This is really the last chance. You know, they haven't heard a bell. They need to reverse sweep FlyQuest to keep their split alive from this game state, being down in gold, even in Drakes, against a very head Yunara Lulu.
Yeah, that's the game state that I'm worried about. I almost don't care about anything else.
You land one good punch, though, get the knockout blow onto Massu.
That's got to be what it is, because, man, Infinity Edge plus Fiend Hunter Bolts is such a nasty combo for just instantly killing someone at the start of the fight. We've seen Masu's killer instinct. You guys described it as a flow state earlier. I think that's exactly the right way to put it.
Locked
he has
in, man.
really been on point so far in this series. 3-0-4 in this one. 100% kill participation, 0 deaths. As now back up here on the top side, Gakgos and Impact both have cleared the level 16 markers, so we have them fully powered up. Gakgos is even dipping into the jungle/support item pool, buying the Zeke's
They're OP,
Convergence.
man, I'm telling you.
This cheap stuff is the good stuff.
It's going to be meta. I really think all the tanks are going to start just spamming these items. They're way too powerful, way too effective, I feel like, at this price point.
Yeah, you can see also the change here. Even if he ults early, it's only going to trigger when an enemy is in range, which, you know, you're Ksante.
It doesn't do anything on Ksante, but yeah, you're always going to be right in range of the guy by all outing him.
Or for like Rakan, where you pop R, you know, early and then run in. Nautilus, champions like that as well. So it is a nice little change there, but these items are just so efficient and so cheap, and is going to allow him to have that ultimate up, you know, that much more often. And I feel like, again, from this game state, you're just peeling for your carry, right? So if Impact goes in onto Massu, you just sit there, you ultim away, Pathmaker away, whatever you've got, you're just using it to push them off of your carry because Impact is not tanky.
FlyQuest trying to reestablish solid control over the topside river here as the Baron is about to spawn. Yeah, they're just ready as soon as it drops. Massu and Gakgos are here. They knock out the wards to make sure there's no easy TP angle for Sentinels, and FlyQuest started up.
They kill it really fast, and if Sentinels doesn't approach in order, they might end up dying. Okay, they peel off.
Okay, they see that they get the teleport coming in from DARKWINGS, so that's already a win.
Yeah, I think that's all they were really looking for, you know, in a state like that with all the summoners available on the other side. They see DARKWINGS pushing bot. They don't actually want to send someone down to answer it, so they just say, you know what? We're going to start Baron. You have to TP. As soon as he TPs, they pull off, and now they can reset and send someone bot, and there will not be DARKWINGS available to answer it, or they'll just go right back to the Baron. So it's just really good macro play here from FlyQuest, who can just rinse and repeat, set up the same type of play here once again.
Well, speaking of setting up the same play, The next dragon spawning here in 30 seconds as well. Remember, this will not be sold for either team since Sentinels did have that dragon stolen away from them last time, but they were first to the dragon, and it looks like FlyQuest is going to keep their eyes more so on the Baron pit, as Gryffinn will see the big Baron Enchanted Scuttler appear, clear that one out, establish extra vision control as Sentinels once more head to the bottom side river.
I feel like Sentinel's position is actually pretty good for the Drake. Even if they risk giving up the Baron, it might even be a trade they're willing to take. Just get Soul Point and give up the Baron. They're really committed to taking this Drake, so they're at the very least going to get themselves Soul Point.
Soul Point for Sentinels getting locked in roundabout now. Huhi might fire a Tempered Fate up to the Baron pit if they think they can do anything with it, but nobody else is anywhere nearby, so wouldn't really do anything but buy you an extra second. So Soul Point for Sentinels, but Baron for FlyQuest. We'll see how much value they can get out of their power play.
I really don't hate that play from Sentinels. There's been a little bit of discussion about how weak Baron is this season, with it only giving half as much gold as it did last year, and if you're not actually making use of the Baron buff, trading it for the Drake, like, if this Baron doesn't do anything, it's definitely an advantage to be on Soul Point.
Yeah, and the question is just, can you actually clear out all these waves? Obviously, Viktor going to be very good at actually clearing that out. And, you know, can FlyQuest set up some push in multiple lanes here to turn that Baron into a lot of gold, right? You know, that is what they are looking for. They're looking to knock down some of these tier 2s and make that Baron buff work for them to set themselves up for this next fight. Because Sentinels have given themselves a win condition here. Hextech Soul is incredibly powerful if they can get it, but FlyQuest wants to make sure that that is not possible.
All right, wave crashing into the tier 2 down here in bottom lane. HamBak off to the side. Will look for the Cataclysm if they can get a good opportunity, but for now, Sentinel's just going to push FlyQuest back.
Look at all these TP wards that are available here, too. You know, Renekton is not with them. TP ward, TP ward, TP ward all around.
Okay, teleport coming in now. Gakgos the only one getting caught, though. There's your Tempered Fate. Might lead to something more. Massu going to be the target. Gets himself back over the wall. HamBak ready to follow. Gakgos knocked down first. HamBak tries to get away, but a nice bullet time buys a little bit of time. Cryogen with a kill onto HamBak as Quad has to escape off to the left. Sentinels have made a 1-for-1 trade so far, but they want to get the advantage. DARKWINGS cuts him down, gets the kill back on a Quad as Impact zones everybody else away on the FlyQuest side. Huhi's not done. Goes on a magical journey straight to hell. Not exactly where you wanted that one to go, so the dust settles, and we get a 2-for-2 trade.
He saw a much better idea than what happened there. But the original look was good for Sentinels, being able to burst down Gakgos' Ksante so fast, and then also getting both summoner spells out of the Yunara once again. So Massu, a big target that Sentinels is doing a pretty good job of not having big impact in the fights.
Yeah, they're doing a really, really good job here. So they're focusing down Gakgos. They do hold him there in place. This flash forward from Huhi gets the stun onto Massu, then hits the ult on him, allows everyone to close the gap. So when he goes back for that dash out, HamBak still has the EQ, then Impact flashes in, throws down his stun. Did the stun not connect on Massu there? I didn't actually.
I think he hit Gakgos.
That's what I think too. I think he was actually trying to click on Massu, and if he does, I think Massu dies. Because that would have been the stun. But the flash misclick there from Impact, really punishing, and then as Huhi comes in.
Huhi goes out.
Gryffinn had ult, you know? In there.
He did.
Not much you can do.
It's a tough
Unlucky.
misclick, though, for sure, because I feel like they would have had Massu there, and it's hard to know how much more you get off after that if you kill Massu. But Huhi basically set that up as well as he possibly could with the flash stun into the Tempered Fate. You know, they get the Cataclysm, dash out into that Flag and Drag knockup, and then Impact flashed in, and I just have to think it was a misclick because I didn't see that stun coming down.
Yeah, he definitely flash stunned.
Flash stun the Gakgos.
Ksante
I mean,
confirmed.
maybe he wanted to flash stun the Ksante to finish him, but I just don't feel like it makes sense in that. When you're sending everything on Massu, it's got to be on him. So whether it was a misclick or just a decision, I think it was one he'll want back.
Yeah, because Impact is one of the strongest players in the game, actually. 13.7 thousand gold on this Renekton. He packs a big punch for himself. Level 19 as well on this Renekton. He needs to be one of the forces in these team fights.
But those were also, like, we got to see, you know, why people are scared of Huhi Bard. That setup, yes, the end of the play was funny, but he is undefeated on this pick and has been very good at finding these plays. You know, that flash stunt into the Tempered Fate gave them an opportunity to kill Massu.
So speaking of killing Massu, a big impediment to that just arrived. Cryogen completing the Mikhail's Crucible, getting rid of the potential for a Bard stun or a Renekton Flash Ruthless Predator to really be the thing that locks up this AD carry that can take over the team fight, who now has Lord Dominic's Regards also fully complete. Oh boy, Huhi. Yeah, that's Infinity Edge plus Fiend Hunter bolts. That's what it does. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
And I know that's a support, but it is a support with Deadman's in a locket. This guy is it's not like this is full Enchanter or a Zyra or something, you know? Like,
no.
He just got absolutely deleted, and now FlyQuest have the run of the map.
And that's a good example of why Sentinels has to send everything after Massu. Because if he's allowed to do that in a team fight, that's what's going to happen to everyone on the Sentinels side. Death's Dance at least completed now 4 impacts, so that'll help him survive it a little bit better. But now, FlyQuest again pushing up. Impact gonna be your target. Knocked into the fear by Gryffinn. Massu's already dominating! It's been so close for so long! And now FlyQuest have found their moment, and they're forcing themselves all the way forward into the enemy base! Sentinels scrambling to try to defend as Gryffinn goes too far forward, might just get punished here. Another turret shot finds him, but not quite enough to kill. Laser fires through. Gakgos could potentially get caught here in the gravity field. Buffers through it there with the Pathmaker. Cryogen right behind his top laner, making sure that he stays alive. Quad fires back with a 2-fold Hex to create some space. FlyQuest now up 7,000 gold as the Dragon is spawned and the Soul is denied to Sentinels.
And FlyQuest continues to play on the edge. The one pick for huhi is a nice start, and then they full send a top lane, nearly going too far, but backing away and securing their own soul point before anyone dies.
DARKWINGS really saved that, though, because that was looking for a moment like it actually could have been the potential end of the game. And DARKWINGS is able to get so much damage down on Massu, who was locked in that Cataclysm, that Massu almost died. Purely to just that ticking ultimate from the Viktor. So was able to push him back, keeps his team alive, but now that gets even harder as Shield Bow is completed.
Yeah.
And it's always demoralizing when you see the luxury items starting to come through in situations like this, where you know your only chance is killing Massu, and it's just getting harder and harder and harder.
Man, just think about how well Massu's been playing, from the Ezreal game to the 10-0 Lucian game to now the 7-0 Yunara game. It's been like an hour of in-game time since he died.
DARKWINGS just got popped. Massu jumps in again with the Fiend Hunter bolts, just mag dump onto the enemy mid laner, and right when it looks like DARKWINGS might try to escape, Quad's there to cut him off. So they take out the strongest player on the enemy team. FlyQuest now going after the Baron yet again.
I mean, this is back-to-back games where Massu has over a 5,000 individual gold lead. That is
second strongest player.
Crazy.
Just a bot gap.
It's just a crazy gap here from Massu is playing so well. Cryogen is playing incredibly well around him. The team is enabling him, but Massu, this is like a career series from him. He is looking amazing.
We've definitely heard from other teams that FlyQuest sometimes is just trying to play around Massu. They're one of the teams that plays more around bot lane than anyone else, and we're kind of seeing all of the practice they've been putting into that come to fruition in this series, as now with the Baron buff and a 4v5 for another 10 seconds, let's see how much they can get.
This whole game for Sentinels has been about their 2 solo laners, and now with one of those solo laners still dead, FlyQuest are taking the opportunity to look for even more. DARKWINGS respawns, so Fly rotate things back over to tier 3 turret in mid lane where Quad had the wave pushed. They'll take that objective out. The inhibitor falls right after. That's 2 inhibs down now with the timers nearly perfectly synced up for the next 4.5 minutes plus. Sentinels map just got a whole lot scarier.
It is really, really tough now, and it's going to be down to this next Dragon fight here to decide whether Sentinels' season is over or whether they will begin a potential comeback here. I mean, again, DARKWINGS, I think, has been having a pretty good game, a pretty good series, but he's just getting out-carried by Massu, and the same can be said for Impact here.
I think we just do a good macro, just reset and then go bot. How can we lose?
How can we lose when you have 20,000 gold on your AD carry and a Seeker's arm guard, if we're talking about luxury items?
Also with luxury items, Gryffinn went ahead and just went 4th item Protoplasm Harness after buying Bruiser items the entire time so far, because he just wants to make sure that he's got the extra survivability for what's probably going to be the last fight.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you can afford is what you buy at this point, and I think Seeker is actually a really good buy for an AD carry in a final fight situation. All
right, let's see if Gryffinn suffers any sort of real damage down here in the bottom lane, because the rest of FlyQuest says, okay, you want Gryffinn, you can have him. We're going to take the Nexus. First turret's already down, second turret's going. Quad buying a little bit of time. FlyQuest are just running straight for the enemy Nexus. Sentinels can't stop them. GG, well played, FlyQuest. Sweep Sentinels out of the playoffs.
So decisive all series for FlyQuest. Massu with the near perfect series here down the stretch, and they are hyped.
Insane series from Massu. Gryffinn popping off, jumping out of his seat there. Sentinels has had FlyQuest's number this year, but when it matters most here in a best-of-5 here with a chance to win the LCS championship, with a chance to go to MSI on the line here, It is FlyQuest sweeping Sentinels out.
And I think for a lot of people watching the LCS, it's a great sign to see FlyQuest locked in and doing well because they're such a fun team to watch. They will play aggressively, they will play creatively, and when they're locked in, this is a scary squad.
FlyQuest was the most dominant team in the LCS last year, but that was with Inspired, Whippo, Busio. They completely rebooted those 3 positions, keeping Massu and Quad. And Massu and Quad have continued to develop along with the development of the new players. So you love to see the pace that this FlyQuest team is on.
I just feel like this is a scary series to watch if you're Team Liquid or Shopify. You know if you win that series, you're going to be playing a FlyQuest next. And Kobe now is standing by with Gryffinn for an interview.
I know. That's right. I'm here with Big G of FlyQuest.
Yo, what up?
How are you feeling after keeping your playoffs hopes alive with a sweep?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was low-key more scared of Sentinels than C9 just because, like, we lost to them 3 times. So, you know, it's been a month since we last played them. So I was still confident because I think we made a lot of progress even in that last month when we played them in the EWC qualifiers. So, yeah, it's been a month. So, yeah, I think we made a lot of progress, and I'm glad we just swept them. Yep.
Yeah, we actually heard some of your confidence. They did a listen-in on you were hyping up Cryogen. He was maybe a little nervous, and you're like, don't worry, you got Faker on your team in 4 positions. How did it feel to see, like, Massu especially was popping off this series?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's normal to feel nervous, especially as like a rookie. I mean, I was super nervous. I remember last year, even though I'm not like a very veteran.
Not nervous now, for sure.
I mean, I'm still nervous, you know. So it's just normal that you'll feel nervous. But I think what happened last year on Loud, especially, is that I had like really 2 strong veterans, and I feel like the same is this year. So that you can kind of like look up to the veterans to like be clutch in these type of situations. Yeah.
And now that you have one, well, it's not determined quite who you're going to play, Team Liquid or Shopify, but a lot of people think that it might be Team Liquid that you're playing. And you guys did lose to them when you played in LCS, but then, of course, you beat them a couple times in EWC qualifiers. How confident are you if you end up going against TL or Shopify?
I mean, I think TL, well, should I talk about both? I mean,
Yeah,
Shopify,
we'll do TL first.
I mean, Shopify, pretty confident. TL, I think we typically do well against them, but I think they're a really strong team. Obviously, they have a lot of like name value and just their players. Typically, I'm more on the confident side. Like even I might be more confident against CL than Sentinels, just because like we had a more good history against CL, just in scrims and stuff. Or actually, on scrims we do well against Sentinels too. But like in like EWC, obviously it's stuff. Sentinels we lost against, so TL we won. So feeling more pretty confident, pretty chill.
All right, well, congratulations. Any last words for your fans here?
Oh yeah, no, I'm thankful for everyone that showed up today. It's so cool, because honestly, we played 7 weeks with no fans, so that's so lame. I feel like you can't feel excited when you have no fans cheering. So yeah, thank you guys for showing up.
All right, thank you. Send it back to the desk.